Hello, crypto friends. Checking in on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, BNB, Dash, and Neo. Before I get into the technical analysis, just want to comment a little bit on this current trading environment. And it's been this way for quite some time in the cryptocurrency space. But right now, this is one of the most difficult trading environments that I have ever experienced. And I would say that one of my biggest triumphs in 2018 is stopping trading the cryptocurrency space and moving my money to other markets where it was much easier to trade. If you are making money in this market, congratulations, because you are in the minority, in my opinion. These fake outs, these huge, bull spikes into complete dumps, they don't happen in stocks. I mean, they can happen, but they happen very rarely. They happen sometimes in commodities, trading the dollar, gold, natural gas, or oil. But just in terms of a very difficult game, trading is a very difficult game to come out ahead on. And if you are in this current market environment, you have pretty much everything possibly trading or going against you that you possibly can to try and be successful long-term consistently, at least as a shorter-term trader. So just want to encourage people yet again, as I've been doing for the last, what feels like a year and a half at this point, to explore other markets because it is not like this. And if it were, I wouldn't be a trader. I've said that before as well. If this is what trading was like, technical analysis would not be a really good enough tool to utilize for consistent profit. So what we've been seeing in the Bitcoin space is these big 5-minute spikes, and it's over the past couple of days, and you can see the bots are just sitting there. And as soon as we break 3,600, the sell bots kick in and we drop down $70 in 5 minutes. And most recently, it happened pretty brutally this morning, where we just went from 36.75, a big time bull break, ready to head back to 37.11, our recent high, and we just get crushed because there are literally bots. I mean, I'm doing some assuming, but the most likely scenario is they're bots that are sitting there, and as soon as a certain threshold is hit, there's this automatic market sell reaction that these bots have to just completely wipe out any of these bull moves. So here we are down over $100 in about an hour or two after this bull break. And again, if you're trading stocks and you're in a uptrend on the daily time frame, the MJ stocks have been hot yet again. They have these cycles which are appearing to happen sooner and sooner with when they go really bullish, and I should say shorter and shorter time in between those cycles. But you break resistance and you get follow through, and that's because you're going with the trend, and that's because there's not these bots that are running the complete market environment due to the lack of liquidity. You have a bunch of retail money coming in, you have institutional money, and all of that is, able to outweigh the control that these bots would have. And the only reason that there's this much control, in my opinion, is because the volume is so low and liquidity is so low as well. If you had, a bunch of retail money coming into this space, the bots would not have as significant an effect, in my opinion. So what we have on the daily time frame for Bitcoin, it looks to me like the 3,600 area is where these bots are set up to begin selling. And if you just look on the 4-hour time frame here and you put a resistance level or a line here right at about 3,600, and you just look at how the price has reacted in this zone, we can call it a resistance zone, 36 to 36.28, we'll call it. Look at the last bunch of days where we hit that and we get rejected, rejection, 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 rejection. So it's a clear zone for me that we have these sell bots set up. And looking at the next support we're looking at now with this clear bearish rejection, it's 35.67, which we're testing right now. And after that, it's 35.45. And then we're looking at the low of consolidation to this point. So the daily time frame, you can see the last few days we've had these bull attempts with big upper wicks from these rejections. And it's like the bulls make an attempt and they consolidate and then they try again and they consolidate and then they try again. And it's 3 rejections in the last 5 days. We're back to daily exponential support being tested. And again, we're looking down at 35.35, the low of this consolidation. And if that breaks, we then have a daily lower high and lower low, which would have us entering this upper 38 or $3,400 area where there's a lack of support nearby. So bulls are going to do everything they can to defend 35.35. Let's see where the RSI levels at this point are. The hourly RSI heading down towards oversold. 15-minute RSI just above oversold. Bears have the control in the short term after that big rejection from that bull break attempt. Names like Ethereum are holding up way better. This daily chart has a slight little curve to it for an uptrend. The daily chart is maintaining higher lows, and we did break a key double top of resistance earlier. We are definitely seeing some correlation with Bitcoin, but Ethereum is fending off the bear reaction better. And the two scenarios for that taking place are, number one, there's more buying on Ethereum to offset that market selling from bots, or number two, there's just not as many bots to market sell on Ethereum correlated with Bitcoin. In my opinion, this bot selling action originates in Bitcoin, and then how it transpires with all these other names and how strong that correlation with all these other altcoins are is dependent on the individual coin, the amount of buying pressure on that coin, and again, how these bots are set up to correlate with each other. And if we look just at the 5-minute time frame, the biggest difference, and we're giving it all back right now, but the biggest difference for Ethereum is that we saw the bull break attempt. We broke the double top of resistance in the 125s, and then the consolidation, we didn't give it all back. And if you look at Bitcoin on the 5-minute time frame, we gave it all back and then some instantly. So the fact that Ethereum didn't give it all back instantly has it in a better position to absorb this bearish response. The 4-hour time frame is likely to form an inside bar. We're still holding 4-hour exponential support. Anything above 121.38 is a 4-hour higher low, keeping the bulls in control. And Ethereum is clearly one of the more bullish major names at this point in time. If we are able to hold on here and Bitcoin is able to turn things around, there's a lot of space for these bulls to work with on Ethereum. But of course, if Bitcoin doesn't turn it around and Bitcoin drops down and breaks that 35 support, the low of consolidation, we're probably going to see Ethereum fade back down towards the 120 area and test some of its supports. Litecoin is having a more significant correlation with the bearish action here on Bitcoin. We can see we gave it all back right away, just like Bitcoin did, and now we're giving a lot of it back. And you can see the hourly time frame is taking out some key support levels. 42.82 and 42.75 have broken. So looking at the 4-hour time frame, we've lost the higher lows on Litecoin. Next support is down at 40.81, where we had another wild reaction that was rejected and pushed the price back down. And the daily time frame for Litecoin, we have our high of 47, our low of the pullback, and we're wondering, is this our daily lower high being set for our tightening range? So keep an eye on Litecoin into this coming week, because as long as we stay within this tightening daily range, we're going to get a nice clear break at some point next week. XRP remains in its daily tightening range. Still no break here. It's absolutely worth watching. We have multiple weekly inside bars showing this tightening range. The most important levels for me are support of 301, and I believe it's been this case for days now. Support of 301 and resistance of 3189. So as long as we are within that range, we are still in the tightening pattern. We have been within this range for the last 8 days in a row. Clear upper wicks of rejection, similar to what we're seeing on these other names, with that selling pressure as soon as bulls make any attempt. And if we break 301, that's a clear bear break that has us looking down to 291 and 285. And looking at it on the weekly time frame, there's our multiple weekly inside bars tightening up, expecting a break this coming week, absolutely. Binance on the daily time frame, similar to Litecoin, it had a much more bullish move leading into this consolidation. But as far as the consolidation goes, it's similar with our high of the move, low of the pullback, and lower high already has been set. And here's the bulls trying to form a higher low. So right now, the key support for me is 840 and key resistance is 950 as the bulls are attempting a higher low compared to 840. And if we can turn around and break 940 or 950, I should say, we're going to be looking back up at 990 and trying for continuation. This is still very healthy consolidation, declining volume as things tighten up. And similar to Litecoin, this is one to be watching for early next week. And actually, what is today? Yep, early next week for a break of a tightening daily range. And just comparing to Litecoin, very similar, slight differences, but we know the daily chart's tightening, which is the most important bottom line to be keeping an eye on. And looking at Dash, so Dash is similar as well. We have our high, low of the pullback. This looks like a lower high being set at the top of today. Most important support is 81.95 and key short-term resistance is 82.81. And we're closer to a bear break than a bull break. This would be a lower high and a lower low. If we were to break 77.37, we would lose the daily uptrend. So that's important for the bulls to maintain and a potential bottom fishing play off of that support level. If I were going to be trading anything in the cryptocurrency space right now, it would either be bearish. Obviously, bears are having an easier time of it, but even bears, those big, not to get stopped out on these big bull spikes, you'd have to have a pretty wide risk tolerance to let that trade play out. But I would be watching the names that are in the daily uptrends, Binance, Dash, Ethereum, and Neo, to see if these bulls can continue this daily uptrend. And looking at Neo, we did get continuation already, so that's standing out compared to other names where we had our high and our low and we pulled back and had a solid bull break today. And it was the same thing, though, with that 5-minute correlation. It's not having the same massive spike and then dump, but it is topping out at a similar time, and it is pulling back at a similar time as well. 4-hour higher low is absolutely anticipated on Neo. Volume climax signaling the temporary top, and anything above 784 keeps the higher lows intact on the 4-hour time frame. So 4-hour uptrend for Neo, looking for that higher low to be set this morning. Dash on the 4-hour time frame is losing the 4-hour uptrend. Binance on the 4-hour time frame trying to shift that momentum to indicate a daily test of resistance is coming. And we're looking at the 4-hour lower highs here. Last lower high is 19, or make that 920. And Ethereum 4-hour time frame, still a 4-hour higher low. So it's the most clear on those names because they do still have the 4-hour uptrend. And although we are seeing some correlation with the Bitcoin rejection here, we're still keeping that 4-hour uptrend and will likely do so into this afternoon and evening. And Bitcoin continues its weakness, losing the 4-hour uptrend, and we will watch for 35.35 key support. So that's where it stands. I'm continuing to monitor this space because I do believe trading will be easy again at some point when the trends clearly shift and everybody agrees that the bulls are back on the weekly trend change and we get follow through. And even in this downtrend, we've seen it in a few months, or for a few months. Back in 2018, we had the month of April and the month of July. Bulls had some decent gains then, and those 2 months alone allowed for me to have gains, some pretty solid gains in 2018, just playing bullish. I only played the major names, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin bullish in 2018, and it was just waiting for those months, waiting for that shift, and then being skeptical and protective and not over trading is the bottom line. So I will be waiting for conditions like those to align again, and until that happens, just sitting on my hands and trading other things that I find a whole lot easier. So we'll continue to check in and watch this space as always. Let's see if these 4-hour higher lows can remain on our more bullish names. Again, Ethereum, Binance, Dash, Neo standing out compared to all these other names. Hope you have a good rest of your Sunday and a holiday tomorrow. And we'll end it here with a little bit of a Costa Rican jungle, a national park headed into, and there'll be more of that in the next video that I do. Do good things out there. We'll see you soon.